Hello everyone, welcome to a new chess video. Today I'm bringing you one of those traps that you all love and keep asking me for. It's a trap that will make your opponent suffer a lot and you'll also win in just a few moves. And as if that weren't enough, we'll be doing it with the black pieces, since you always ask me, please chess teacher, bring us a super powerful trap with the black pieces. And as if that weren't enough, you can play this trap when your opponent plays e4, the king's pawn. But you can also use it when they play d4, the queen's pawn. What does that mean? It means you can use this trap in 99% of your games because they almost always start this way. So let's explain it. Let's start, for example, with the king's pawn a4. Then we are going to respond with the move knight to f6. This is called the Alapin defense. We're already attacking this pawn right here from the very start. But there's a problem with this. Since we don't have this pawn blocking the opponent's pawn, now when we bring out the knight, it can be attacked directly. But that's not a problem because we know the trap. We have to place the knight next to the pawn, and now they can play d4 and have an excellent pawn center. Here the main move in the Alapin defense would be to play d6. But you already know that we love to find traps that go a little off the main line to catch our opponents completely off guard, by surprise. And we're going to play the move b5. Look at how strange this move is. Besides looking like such a bad move, we're giving away this pawn. Notice that they could capture it while developing the bishop. Therefore, it would be very unusual if they didn't capture this pawn here. First of all, let's see what happens if they do capture it. What's the idea behind this move? That they can't play c4 to attack our knight. Here, if we play d6, they can attack this knight directly, so we play b5. Of course, we're giving up the pawn. And now what? Well, here we get a brutal counterattack. What we're going to do, remember, is play c5. Place this pawn here to gain a bit of space. Here, a lot of people are going to fall for the first trap of this opening. What is this trap? Notice they've already taken a pawn. Many might think, this guy is really bad, I'm going to crush him quickly, I'll take this pawn and now I have 2 extra pawns. But this would be a huge mistake because we have the move queen to a5 check. And on top of that, we're going to capture the bishop on the next move. You have to be very alert to queen to a5 moves in this opening, because it's not just about this trap, it will come up many times during the opening. Look, let's analyze the situation a bit. We're giving check, so here the opponent would have to block, right? But we're also attacking this bishop, so we're winning a piece. However, they're also attacking one of our pieces. So if we take the bishop, our opponent might take our knight, attacking the rook, look. And here, the opponent might be interested in getting into this situation. However, we don't need to worry. That's because we're still winning. Pay attention to what we need to do. We're definitely going to play queen to a5, check, attacking the bishop. Let's see what our opponent does. If they block with the knight, we simply exchange here, and it would be the easiest thing in the world, because now we capture and our opponent doesn't get the piece back. So if they block with the knight, they're completely lost. Now they don't have to block with the knight. They can make the good move here, which would be c3, but even so, we'll still win. Don't worry, we'll still win anyway. Why? Because now we're going to do the following. They block with c3. What are we going to do? Take the bishop. What are they going to do? Obviously they'll take the knight, otherwise they're completely lost. Now they still have 2 extra pawns, right? Because we took a piece and so did they. But we have the move bishop to b7, protected by the queen, attacking their queen with an x-ray, and more importantly, attacking this g2 square, which is completely undefended. Therefore, when this queen moves, wherever it goes, it doesn't matter, we're going to capture this pawn here, look, and we're going to win the rook on the next move. It's true, now we're down a pawn, but look, we already have the rook won on the next move. Here, things can even get worse, because a lot of people want to attack your queen, right? Think about it, if you attack my rook, I attack your queen. But this is even worse, because it even lets us bring the queen in. Here, right in front of the king, this king can only move here, it's lost castling rights, this bishop won't be able to get out. We're winning material because next we'll capture here. Now this knight can't get out here because we capture it, nor here because we capture it, it would have to go out this way. And look at this position. We have a rook up, and also notice that the king is stuck here in the middle, can't castle, and on top of that it's blocking its own pieces. Notice that this trap starts off really well, but be careful because it gets even better. Now let's see how to reach the same position, but if instead of playing e4, they play d4. You can reach the same position. As I told you at the beginning of the video, so you'll be able to use it a lot. If you're enjoying this video, don't hesitate to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I have a trap prepared with the white pieces that's going to blow your mind. So let's do a challenge. If we reach 400 likes, I know that's a lot, but if we get to 400 likes, I'll upload that video about the trap. Honestly, you're going to love it and you'll use it in so many games, so it's in your hands. If we reach 400 likes, I'll upload it. Now then, how do we reach this position with the black pieces if they play d4? Look how interesting this is. We're going to play b5 right away, a super strange move. Here, your opponent is already going to think you're a pretty bad player, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. What's the best response for white here? They'll play e4, and why is that? To take control of the center and also attack this pawn here, thanks. As for us, you already know, we'll play knight to f6. If they now decide to capture this pawn here, we would capture the pawn on e4. And what would have happened here? Well, we would have made a favorable exchange since we gave up a pawn on the queen side, which is much less valuable compared to the central king's pawn, so we would already be better off. However, here white might think, first I'll chase away the knight, and now when the knight moves? So, they take the pawn, and if you notice, we're in exactly the same position. What should we do now? Well, the same as in the first variation, play c5 to break the center. We've seen that capturing would be a huge mistake because of queen to a5, but here a lot of people might think, okay, they're already anticipating queen to a5, so what I'll do is protect both things. I protect the pawn and I protect against the queen's entry. But simply, what are we going to do here? Pawn takes pawn, and when they recapture, now yes, simply queen to a5 check, and we're in the same situation. And now it's even better, because this pawn is blocking the queen, and she wouldn't be able to recapture the knight. So whatever they do, if they attack us here, we'll take the bishop. If they block with the queen, we obviously won't trade queens, we'll also take the bishop. And if they block with the knight, what will we have to do? Well, obviously not the bishop, because it's protected. Instead, we first exchange the knight, and now we can calmly take the bishop. Notice that in just 5 or 6 moves, we're already winning a piece. You can't imagine how many games I've won with this trap. But wait, that's not all. Oh, I'm choking. That's not all. There's still more. So remember this well. Knight to f6 attacking the pawn. When they attack us, we move it here. d4. Now yes. Thank you. We play our b5. If they play d4, you already know. You do it the other way. There's no problem. Bishop takes, we play c5, and we've already seen that so many people, even grandmasters, fall for pawn takes pawn. Or even with c3, we know how to punish both of them. But what happens if they play c4 against us? They directly attack this knight. Well, we're going to give it away. But first of all, you know it's in your hands. Let's see if you can make me really happy. And if we reach 400 likes, or maybe even more, I'll be super happy because I'm really looking forward to showing you that trap I have in mind. Wait a minute. What do you mean we're giving away the knight, chess teacher? Have you gone crazy? Yes, I've gone crazy. You already know that. But this works, and if not, try it in your own games and then let me know. Look at this, okay? We take here, giving away the knight. How can that be? Well, why? Because when we give away the knight, we once again have queen to f5, check, and we'll take the bishop. And not only that, but we'll end up with a much better position. Now we're not down any pawns, and on top of that we have a much more incredible position. For example, when they block the check, we take the bishop, and look, we're attacking the central pawn, we're attacking this pawn here. This position is terrible for white. I mean, we're so much better off now. These pawns are going to fall. This pawn might also fall. They can't defend everything. It's a position that's going to collapse under its own weight. Check out this incredible trap. Here's a brilliant detail that will help you win a ton of games. Pay attention to this, okay? When we play c5 and they respond with c4, as we've seen so far, we said we sacrifice the knight and take here. However, a lot of people will say, okay, I won't take here, because then queen to a5 would come and they'd win the bishop. So what I'm going to do is capture here with the queen. A much better move for white. However, we have another way to break open the position. Watch this, okay? This video is a goldmine, you know? If you really learn this well and study it, you're going to win a ton of games, okay? That's why I keep insisting on the likes. Look. Here, we can't play over here. It wouldn't seem like a very good idea because this is still defended, right? But what happens? That we have this incredible move. What are we threatening now? I guess you all see it. We're threatening to jump here. Check. Double and triple. Therefore here they would have to resign. How can the white pieces naturally cover this square? Well, for example, with the knight over here. A very normal move here would be a 6 to drive this bishop away and get a slightly better position. However, we have the move d5 again to make discovered checks. Right now we're threatening to take this horse away here and there, haking and gaining material, a lot of material. Therefore, here's a very natural move for white. What could it be? Obviously a bishop of 2, right? Supernatural. Not only is the nail being nailed away, but now he's the one nailing us. But come on, I'll give you 3 seconds here to think of an incredible bombshell. Come on. There it is. The incredible move here is queen takes knight, sacrificing the queen. We're removing the defender, and now, when they capture us, now it's really on. We no longer have the knight covering us. Look at this incredible triple check. We're going to win the queen on the next move. We're threatening this bishop. The king can't castle, and we're left in a much better position. Therefore, on top of that, we end up with an extra piece. Look, 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, 3, 4. They've fallen into our trap again, and wait, the best part is still to come. Alright, here we have to be careful with one move, which is if they bring the bishop back to c4 to prevent all these check threats. But now I am going to show you how to win when they play bishop to c4, which seems to be the best move. Are they simply attacking our knight? Yes, well, we're going to give it away anyway. And we don't have to be afraid if they take it. Why? Because of the same tactic as always. You know, when you play this opening, keep in mind that you always have, or usually have, the move queen to a 5 check available, and we'll recover the material. Here, a logical move, not bishop to d2 to block the check. We take the bishop, and notice that now we're much better than white. First, we've broken up this strong pawn center that white had. Second, we've eliminated the bishop pair. Third, we're attacking the e5 square, and we're also attacking this g2 square. So, it seems there's only one way to defend them, right? Which would be knight to f3. They defend this one and they defend this one. But we can continue with the move bishop to a6, completely cutting off castling. And now, white is in serious trouble. Look, I checked what the most common move here for white was, and it was c3. And notice that here we win immediately. Pretty much whatever they do, we're winning, right? But even if they play a move like c3, not realizing the threat of d4, check, now what can white do? They can't do anything. The king can't move because it's cut off by the bishop. They would have to sacrifice material to keep the game going, and that's already a 1 position. Look, with the queen it would be checkmate, so they'd have to sacrifice the bishop, and this is already completely won. We capture here, we're threatening to take here. With a double check, this is more than just 1. We've seen that by retreating, we give up the knight and capture here. However, here the white pieces have a winning move, practically impossible to find. Still, if they do find it, we have to be prepared, right? But they're not going to find it, I'm telling you right now. But if they do find it, what happens? Look at the move, knight to c3. Sacrificing the knight for the pawn. What a strange move. Of course, and they think like this. I take here, and then I'm fine. It's a good move. However, very hard to find. And what are we going to do? Well, we're going to take the knight. And we're going to get into the game. Bishop takes knight. And now what? They're threatening our rook. Notice that now we simply have the move. Queen to a5. As always. We're attacking here, they can take our rook, but notice that if they take here, check here, here, and here, so we'll be in a great position if they take the pawn. But of course, the interesting thing here is what happens if they take our rook, right? Obviously, we're left down a rook. Well, here, look at this interesting move. Pawn takes pawn, check, we threaten the rook and the bishop, they block, and now we don't promote, because if we promote, they can take the queens. What we're going to do is take this pawn with check first. And now, when they block, what are we going to do? Well, capture the rook. And what do you say, Stitcher? What do you say? Do you have a queen for me? Well, give me the queen because with 1, 2 queens, check. Look, this is completely won. Plus, they defend each other. And here, in this case, it would be checkmate because if they move back, it's checkmate. So here we are completely winning. Look at what a line. Incredible line to finish things off. If they find the right move, most people fall for this line. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Stitcher says we're going to reach 400 likes, so smash that like button. If you leave me a comment, I'll read it, and if you subscribe to the channel, you'll see my daily videos. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Friends, goodbye.